I want to talk about something that every American, regardless of party, background, or belief, needs to understand. Due process is not just a legal term. It's the difference between freedom and tyranny. It's the firewall between the government and your life, your liberty, and your property. Without due process, justice becomes fragile, liberty becomes negotiable, and democracy becomes nothing but a slogan. Welcome to Motivation America, where patriotism meets purpose. Here we don't just talk politics, we uplift the nation. From Main Street to Capitol Hill, we inspire greatness, expose the truth, and remind America who we really are. This is not just motivation. This is Motivation America, because the fire of freedom still burns. Now, what is due process? At the core, due process demands that the government plays by the rules fairly, transparent, and consistently. It's the principles that no one says, not even the state, can take your rights without going through just the process. You see, this is not new. It goes way back to the Magna Carta of 1215, when the English barons forced King John to accept that even royalty must bow down to the law. That's the reason why everyone has this tagline that no man is above the law. One line from that ancient document that I just talked about, the Magna Carta, would echo through the realms of time. No free man shall be punished except by lawful judgment of his equals or by the law of the land. That seed planted in feudal England would grow into one of America's most sacred values. When the founders of this land broke free from British rule, they did so because due process had been trampled upon. Unfair trials, arbitrary taxes, military tribunals. They didn't just want to have independence. They wanted a nation where laws protect individuals and not crush them. And so it was enshrined within the American Constitution twice. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. First, in the Fifth Amendment, against feudal or federal abuse. Then in the 14th Amendment, after the Civil War, to restrain the states. Let's not skip over that. The 14th Amendment wasn't just paperwork. It was born out of the ashes of enslavement, a declaration that no state could deny rights to any person. That means you, that means me, that means anyone. It was a legal sword against oppression, and over time, it became the tool that made freedom real. Through the due process, the Supreme Court incorporated the Bill of Rights, freedom of speech, the right to counsel, protection against self-incrimination, and said these rights don't stop at the state line. Do some research. And I want you to research Gideon versus Wainwright. A poor man in Florida denied an attorney. The court said, no, everyone deserves a free, fair trial. Think about Miranda versus Arizona. The police now must inform you of your rights before questioning you, not because it's convenient, but because it's fair. That's procedural due process. Substantive due process challenges the law itself. Are they just? Do they protect fundamental liberties? Now, of course, this principle has faced misuse. In the early 1900s, during the so-called Lochner era, courts struck down worker protections in the name of freedom of contact. That too was called due process. But let's be honest, it served business, not people. So we must always ask, is due process protecting the vulnerable or the powerful? Because today, right now, due process is under a lot of pressure. When civil asset forfeiture allows the state to seize your property without a conviction, due process is being tested. When non-citizens are held indefinitely without trial at, let's say, Guantanamo Bay, due process is being tested. When AI decides who gets parole or who gets sentencing without transparency or accountability, due process is being tested. And the most dangerous test of it all, when the people stop paying attention. Let me be clear. Due process is not flashy. It doesn't trend on social media, but it's the spine of liberty. It's the quiet shield in the courtroom. Every hearing, every time a citizen says, I have rights. Without it, we return to a rule by whim, by power, by fear. But with it, justice can breathe and freedom lives. So I say this to every listener, every student of life, every student, every citizen. Defend due process, demand due process, respect due process, teach due process. Because the Constitution of America does not enforce itself. The courts do not operate on autopilot. Democracy is not a spectator sport. Due process is how freedom holds its ground. This is what I want you to think about. In this great American experiment, it's up to us, not just the courts, not just the lawyers, but us to keep the principles alive. When due process stands, America stands taller. This is Motivation America. If you're ready to rebuild belief in this country, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the fire, stay bold, stay brave, never stop believing in America and what it can become. Until next time, keep the faith, keep pushing forward.